Good morning, class, and welcome back to Hot School. In today's lesson, we will be going over Cold KT, otherwise known as Kel'Thuzad. So Kel'Thuzad is an interesting hero. He was one of the first heroes that had a global damage dealing spell that can really do some serious damage. To be really good at Kel'Thuzad, it is all about comboing his own abilities with his own abilities. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Alrighty, so we find ourselves in Warhead Junction. On the friendly team, we have Kel'Thuzad, Raynor, the Butcher, Joanna, and Stukov versus Asmodan, Whitemane, Blaze, Nova, and Zagara. Alright, so main thing we're going to have to watch out for is the Nova on this one, but hopefully we can get in some combos off on the Blaze. So Kel'Thuzad, one of the main things about Kel'Thuzad that makes him extremely powerful is once you complete his built-in Blight quest, which I'll explain right now. So for every hero that we hit with our E ability, which is our chains of Kel'Thuzad, it shoots a chain out in front of us, hits a target, and then we can then chain another hero to them. That would be 2 stacks if we hit 2 of them. But for every time that happens, we gain 1 Blight. Also, our W ability, which is called Frost Nova. If an enemy gets hit in that center ring, we gain a Blight stack from that. Also, it does root them, and in the outer ring there, it slows them. And then our Q ability is Death and Decay, dealing just damage. It's a bolt that shoots out from us, leaving a pool of Death and Decay. So we're going to go ahead and take this. And so dealing damage every 0.5 second, I believe. We're going to go ahead and combo up on that if I can get in an extra stack. There we go. Get some stacks early, if I can. Okay, so at level 1 we took Blighted Frost. What this does is it increases the damage from the center of our Frost Nova by 75%. So if we hit with that, we're going to be doing more damage, and it also, after we regain 30 Blight, it increases the root duration of the center of that ability by 0.5 seconds. So we're going to go ahead and take out these minions here. And we're going to go ahead and chain that Nova to that Whitemane. Nova's going to try to come up. We're going to go ahead and root her. And we're going to go ahead and take her down. And we're going to whiff on the clone. But so that's the thing is with chains you can also hit clones of targets. So like Samuro is a really good one. Nova, you can use it on Misha. Anything that counts as a heroic target. We're gonna go ahead and deal some damage to this bottom tower. Should be able to take it out. We're gonna go ahead and chain that Whitemane, and just in case Nova is nearby, we're just gonna throw that chain haphazardly back there. Let's go ahead and hit our sippy cup so we can go ahead and get back mana. I like having Raynor next to me. I don't know why we're missing that. We're gonna go ahead and take out this minion wave. I feel safe. Raynor makes me feel safe. So the big thing with Kel'Thuzad is he's kind of like the Butcher, in that he's a feast or famine hero. He can do amazing things if you hit your Blight stacks. If you don't hit your Blight stacks, he can do pretty much nothing. Sorry, but I win that engagement as far as damage done, and I get a stack off you. I was just waiting for her to do that so I could use that ability. I wanted to get a chain off on her just to get the extra stack. Oh, man. Go ahead and throw that there. Perfect. Oh, she wisened up. Look at her. So we got to watch out because we're going to have Nova. Nova is bot, you know? Go ahead and let's take this thing. See if Whitemane can get to us in time. Damn it. Let's see if Whitemane can get to us in time. So we need to do a little bit of damage and at least get some blight stacks off of her. Nova and Zag are still bought, so I keep checking my mini-map. She got minions on her. And I'm just trying to get blight stacks, really, honestly. I know I'm not going to kill a white main. And if I delay that too long, Nova's going to come up and just murk me. So I'm not trying to do that right now. What I'm trying to do is get as many stacks as I can from her. At level 7, we're going to take Death and Decay damage increases. So this means that when we get Death and Decay, which is that ability there if you've forgotten, the more times it hits a hero, the more damage it does, increasing the damage for every time that it hits a hero. Helping us do a considerable amount of damage there. Hey, we finally got some backup. We should be able to take this nuke now.
Enemy nuke launched.
Ah, I can't catch up. Now we got the fake one. Oh.
Warhead Junction.
Ooh, that corpse make for good eat.
And we went ahead and took care of that. Just gonna give our butcher some stacks. So there's 40 stacks for you, butcher. I got you. Now that we've hit 15 stacks, we can put down our glacial spike, which is going to allow us to chain when there's only one target, or bring people out of position, which we're doing with that Asmo right now. We brought him into this soiree here. We're gonna go ahead and grab these regen globes because I don't want to die. I don't know where Nova is, so I'm really afraid to get away from these minions. But here we are. We're gonna run back here. We got a little bit on our sippy cup, so we are going to go ahead and hearth. My hands are freezing. Must be because I'm playing Kel'Thuzad, or because it's like 50-something degrees in my house and I'm cold.
A fateful choice.
All right, so we're gonna come back up here. Now that we have Glacial Spike, we can kind of make some of these combos happen. So where Glacial Spike is really beneficial is from the shadows. Like that. So we're able to do a little bit more damage to targets by surprise. And we're gonna get both of them in that. We're gonna be able to kill this Asmo. And we're at level 10, we're gonna take the Shadow Fissure, which is that thing right there. Puts down this little blue circle, and after a short period of time, a big explosion hits from it. It obviously works best when you have them in your Frost Nova and they cannot avoid it. We're gonna come down here and help take out this Zag with Joanna. We're gonna go ahead and get as many stacks as we possibly can off of her. So we are up to 23 stacks, so doing a lot better. And once we get to 30 stacks, that's when the fun stuff starts happening. We're gonna throw the spike out here, see if we can catch Asmo with it. We sure can. We're gonna use our Rude, our ult, and I mean Asmo has a ton of health, granted, right? But we did a sizable amount of said health right there. We did about half of his health, so a little bit more. And we were able to get 2 more stacks off him, so we're at 25 blight. So we need 5 more, and then the damage really starts coming. Put our ult out for when he comes out of the bunker. And we throw Death and Decay on him. Let's go ahead and chain some people. We're interrupting that Asmo laser channel.
The warheads are ready.
Slow him. He put down his minion, so it stopped our Death Decay from hitting him, which it wouldn't have like really done any sizable amount of damage or anything to him, but it's all about, you know, just getting more stuff out on him. And it looks like he went ahead and murked that Nova, so we're gonna go ahead and take out this camp. Throw down a Death and Decay with a W. Kel'Thuzad is not really all that great at taking camps by himself, so he's not a hero that you want to try to jungle with. If you've got help, then yeah, you know, have at it, but don't waste your abilities if you're by yourself. Unless it's like a siege camp and you have forever to do it, We're just waiting for a nuke. And we're going to go ahead and throw our nuke down. Go ahead and take out a lot of that. And we're going to bring her back over here. Deal more damage to her. Ooh! We are stacked, boys! Now the damage starts coming. As you saw right there. So now we got that 75% more spell damage. So now we can actually deal some damages to people. So at level 13, we're going to take Icy Grasp, which is going to increase the duration of the slow. Get that Nova. Nova's going to turn back on us, as they typically do. But as you can see, so that level 4 talent that we took, that gave us shields when we use our chains, so we have a little bit of health extra, you know, a little bit extra health there. It's only about 121 extra health right now, but that sometimes really makes a difference when your max health is only, you know, 2,500. We used all of our cooldowns there, so you don't really have anything else, as chains cannot be used on minions. Now, you used to be able to use the chains to chain people to buildings. Now, and this is another thing that made Kel'Thuzad kind of drop off as far as popularity, and I believe his win rate dropped as well, because he is no longer able to chain people to buildings. Because the hard part with Kel'Thuzad is always finding something to chain. And we got that Nova a little bit there. Now we're going to go ahead and pop this ult down, which is going to go ahead and get that kill because we were at 30 stacks. So when you get to that 30, that's when that damage comes. We're just gonna run by her. We're gonna whiff all of our abilities because that's what we do. The interesting thing about Kel'Thuzad's Q ability, Death and Decay, is that it has like this short cast time. It's almost a short delay on it, kind of like Dehaka's tongue ability. And as you can see, we're doing some damage to this blaze. We're gonna bring him all the way over here. You want to come over here? You better come correct, dude. Try to do as much damage in there as I can. I'm gonna go ahead and just pop my ult out of there, and I'm running. Because that Nova is probably swinging around the top, and she would kill me before I could even see her coming. So at level 16, we're going to take Power of Ice Crown. So as we do damage to targets that are disabled, we gain spell power. As you can see, we just did a crap ton of damage to that Nova. And we were finally to the point where we're doing meaningful damage with our abilities. Just taking that regen globe. We had gotten boss, so that's the glory of having a butcher on your team.
So be it.
I kind of feel that Kel'Thuzad is definitely what you could call a win more hero. If you're winning, Kel'Thuzad definitely makes you win more. They're just gonna go ahead and do this. Butcher's gonna be able to solo that boss up there. So we're just gonna go ahead and take out these random minions here. And we'll come up and pretend like we're gonna help. So just get some damage in on this boss. Avoid all his little green dealies. And we're just gonna stand around because we want the regen globe. As we want that mana. Use one ability here to get that back, keep this minion wave pushing and get that regen globe. Ooh. We did a ton of damage there. And then we didn't stay on the thing. But we can go ahead and root Blaze. And kill him. And we should be able to push this boss to win.
Nicely done.
Boss is really good on this map. We're gonna go ahead and put down a spike and miss it because it hadn't come out yet. But we should be able to push this to finish this out. Let's see. Just waiting. Come on, Asmo. So look at that damage that we're doing to Asmo right there. And Asmo is one of the heroes that have like the highest health pools in the game. So I mean, we did a considerable amount of damage on him. Obviously, with a little bit more support on our team there, or even if we were level 20, we probably could have been able to take him down. I don't know why we're MVP other than the fact that we didn't die. That was pretty much it. I know we didn't play amazingly, but we didn't die, so I guess that's a thing. So let's talk about some talents that we took. So at level 1, we took Blighted Frost, and this helped our Frost Nova deal more damage to enemies in the center of it. And after gaining 30 Blight, we increased the Frost Nova's root duration by a half second. At level 4, we took Strip Shield. So what this did is when we hit a target with our chain, with our chains of Kel'Thuzad, we gain a shield. So then if we then chain them to somebody else, we gain more of a shield. And it also did damage to shields, although we didn't really see that in that match, but on matches where you go against targets that that have shields, like Artanis, Chen, you know, any character that has a shield, it deals extra damage to them as well. Accelerated Decay, so each time a hero is hit by Death and Decay's pool, they took 20% more periodic damage from Death and Decay. So that was a way we were able to get more damage, especially when they were rooted and they had to just sit in that Death and Decay. At 10, we took Shadow Fissure, which what this did is it is that big bada boom, we'll call it. And we can do that from anywhere globally, dealing a lot of damage. Most effectively when we have them in our combo because of our other talents. At level 13, we took Icy Grasp, which increased the slow by 15%, and each time that we damage enemies slowed by Frost Nova, the slow duration was increased by a half second. So what that means is that if we get a hero in our Frost Nova, and then we hit them with Death and Decay, and they take several hits of that, that's a lot of slow time. At level 16, we took Power of Ice Crown, so stunning, rooting, or slowing a hero granted a 6% spell power for 10 seconds, and that stacks up to 5 times. So when you chain 2 people, that counts as 2 stuns. So right there is a 12% increase in spell damage. Then if you hit them with the center of the Frost Nova using your combo on there, that's another 12%. Or even if you hit them with that outer ring. So now you're up to 24% more spell damage. And then you're going to hit them with your Death and Decay and your ultimate ability. So you're going to hit for 24% more spell damage on your last 2 abilities in that combo because of that talent. And that's what makes that talent so powerful. Had we gotten to level 20, we would have taken Might of the Scourge, which hitting a hero with our ultimate ability resets the cooldown on it. It is an awesome ability when it comes to delaying pickups on stuff. Like on that map, it would have been good for delaying nuke pickups. But if you're doing like a tribute, or if you're on Blackheart's Bay, whatever the case may be, just having that ult, you put it right underneath the center of, if you put the hero in the center of that ability, if the enemy is not expecting it, they don't have enough time to move out of it, you're going to deal the damage of the ult. Plus, you're going to be able to use that ult again. And you can do that same thing. And there's been numerous times where I've done it multiple times in a row, just killing a hero. Also, that talent right there is the bane of an Abathur. If you know where an Abathur is and he's out on the field, you use that on him, he's going to take almost his full HP damage and use it immediately again. If he's topping somebody and other stuff's going on, he's dead. He will not have an opportunity to get out of there. So as far as build variation, one that I see a lot of people take, instead of taking the shield gains at level 4, a lot of people take the Phylactery of Kel'Thuzad. And so after gaining 12 regen globes, what this does is it makes it so that you can automatically respawn and you don't have to wait for your death timer. As you saw in that last game, it wouldn't have made a difference for us because we didn't die. So that would have been somewhat of a wasted talent. Passively, though, you gain 10%. You heal for 10% of all spell damage dealt while the phylactery is charged. So after you've gotten 12 regen globes into it, you start gaining a little bit of a health factor there too. Had we gone against some heroes that were more like more like auto attack heroes or trying to get up in our business, Armor of the Archlich is really good too for sustain. We gain 50 physical armor for 4 seconds, and upon activation, enemies that are around us are slowed. They take a little bit of damage, but the main thing is they're slowed. So if you have something like a Sonya, Illidan, Valera even, you can use this Armor of the Archlich, which will give you the armor, so they're not going to be able to do as much damage to you, but also they're going to be slowed and hopefully give you enough time to get out of there. At level 7, a lot of times too, you can go a Death and Decay build. So at level 1, you would take the Plague Lands, which increase your Death and Decay duration and radius. And then the Death and Decay duration is increased by 1 second, which means two more times it's going to do damage. And then after gaining 30 blight, it increased the radius of it by 30%. And I'll tell you, it's huge. It's very similar to Stukov's Lurking Arm, and then where that expands out as well. It makes it considerably larger. Level 10, the other ultimate that you can take is Frost Blast, which it basically is like a cold version of Pyroblast without the damage. So it's you cast it, it works, it looks on the screen very similar to Pyroblast. When it hits a target, it roots them and anybody else in the radius in place. Does some damage, doesn't do near as much damage as Pyroblast. I personally like Shadow Fissure because I want to combo off of my own damage and do more damage. I want to take somebody off the board when I play as Kel'Thuzad. Let's see, at level 16, Arcane Echoes is one that you could take if you were going a Death and Decay build. So whenever a Kel'Thuzad hits an enemy hero with Death and Decay's explosion, so the initial hit of it, the cooldown is reduced by 1.5 seconds. And also, if you're doing a Death and Decay build, you can also go Hungry Cold. So what this does is, so enemies that are rooted take an additional 55 damage each time they're damaged by Kel'Thuzad. So that works out really well with Death and Decay because they're going to be sitting there in that pool taking a lot more damage. And if you're banking on that Death and Decay, just kind of bonus. Now this talent here, the Damned Return, this one, you use this and it makes a shade that also casts Death and Decay in the area that you cast it. It's very similar to Chromie's like shade that she gets, where you can have her shooting a her Sandblast in the same area. Same idea, except for you get another Death and Decay. That is huge. If you get that bonused up with the Hungering Cold and you have somebody rooted, they're going to take ridiculous damage because you're going to be hitting him with 2 Death and Decays at the same time, plus all that bonus damage. As far as my overall thoughts on Kel'Thuzad, I enjoy him. I've played him a lot, and I still have really bad games with him because he's that feast or famine. If you don't get the Blight quest completed as early as possible in the match, you're just behind the 8 ball the entire match, and you're unable to really help out your team as much as you would like. So I don't feel like he's in the best of places right now. Ever since they took his ability to not get Glacial Spike at level 7, it really takes a team that you're going against to be bad at positioning for you to excel at him. So there's just kind of too many contingencies right now for him to be one of my favorite mages at this point in the game. However, landing his combos still do a crazy amount of damage if you get that Blight quest done. Who are we going to next? Kerrigan. Oh man. Well, with that, guys, that'll do it here for today. I hope you guys all have yourselves a great rest of your day, and we'll see you guys all next time. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like it, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more gaming content. It really helps me out. It doesn't cost you anything. Thank you again. Have a great day.